This video is going to show you Solo Flawless Legendary Campaign Mission number 6, Descent, which I believe to be one of the harder ones for people to solo flawless, and that's what this video is going to show for you and go over the ads and stuff like that. So my build is pretty basic, but the most important thing is that I've got on a Stasis Turret and I've got on Song of Flame. Both Stasis Turret and Song of Flame, the Solar Super, the new one for the Warlock, melts the new Dread enemies. And that is what's most important about this mission. If you want to do it without dying and you want to get through it pretty easy, then honestly on a Warlock, so far what I've discovered is that this is really good. We're using Red Death as well to keep for the theme that I've been using it all day. And it's just a good way of, you know, with recovery and stuff. Obviously I've got Devour anyways, but it's just recovery on top of recovery, and Red Death's putting out some decent damage anyways. We're using that with a rocket sidearm. If there wasn't a rocket sidearm in the kinetic slot, then I would have ran something else and run Indebted Kindness. You definitely want to probably use a rocket sidearm for this, so either Indebted Kindness or the Strand one. You should have got the Strand one a random roll from the campaign mission. Is it mission 2 or 3 or something? You'll have got one. I got a god roll, especially with my stag sort of setup, because I keep rifting and getting slice going. So yeah, it was a nice run, this actually. As I say, I think so far this is the toughest mission. I have not played mission number 7 yet. I'll maybe play tonight or tomorrow. I'll see if I'm tired or not, or whatever. Once we get that done, we can move on to some other stuff as well, I suppose as well. So we're going to get a Stasis Turret down here behind this rock, and then take out all these ads and the Arc Shielded Knights. Try not to expose yourself from the Shrieker to your right. When you do, whip out your linear. I highly recommend an aggressive frame, honestly, or even a precision frame if you really want to, but the aggressive frames seem to be doing really well in the game right now. And I've been using Storm Chaser all day, so if you are using exotic primary and you need a legendary heavy, I think the linear is good because you need crit damage. Not to say that GLs aren't bad, and not to say that rockets are bad, but crit damage is so important because you're up against Tormentors, and you're up against the are they called Subjectors? I think that's what they're called, the new Dread enemy type. The new Tormentor type of enemy. You need crit damage for those. It really helps out if you've got crit damage for them. Rocket sidearms melt them as well. They really do melt them quick. But yeah, there's Tormentors in this, there's Subjectors, there's all that stuff. So this loadout just does well. Red Death for the healing, I'd clear the rocket sidearm for assisting with damage, and just obviously doing rocket sidearm things. Really good weapon type. So this is the first mechanic, Howling Plague of the Witness. When I first ran this, I thought, oh no, we're going to fight a boss with this. That basically means you get no HP. You can see by the symbol, it's telling you get no health regen. Red Death's perfect for that bit, because there is parts in this mission where you get that desert area where you don't get health regen. Using Red Death on those parts is going to help you get your health up. Or if you've got Devour, then it's no big deal, but say you haven't got Devour for whatever reason, then you can use Red Death and you're fine. We're going to use a turret first, then we're going to transcend, because the top tip with this is you can't use your turret while you're transcended. So make use of your single use grenade before going transcended, if it's something like a support style grenade, like the turret. We're going to pop Super Song of Flame, and look at the melt. Look at the melt on the Subjector. I'm actually going to be really excited to use this on other things. Right, it's just doing really good damage. I don't know what the synergies are with Song of Flame. I'm very interested to know. Does Dawn Chorus work with it? What you're going to realise is this, with the whole prismatic thing. There's that many combinations to do today. It's impossible for me to test them all today. It's absolutely impossible for me to test all combinations. So if you comment down below and say this build is better, you're probably right. It might well be. Alright, but we can't master the game in less than 24 hours. The game has changed massively, drastically. It is a world reset. I'm basically saying that this is a world reset since this expansion dropped. The game has changed completely. Alright, for the better, I'm not sure. Probably it's been fun. I must admit, with the whole prismatic thing today, obviously I did slander it a little bit, and I was critical of it last week, but I haven't played with it. It's really good, and the story that IGN made up, I mean, I suppose I can only go off Warlock and what footage I've saw, but honestly, Warlock's melting on prismatic without the use of an exotic class item. Alright, it's absolutely doing lots of things for us. I'm getting Radiant, I'm getting Devour, I'm getting my turret up. And bear in mind, the better you are at ability uptime in terms of cycling your abilities, the better you are at Prismatic. There's a skill gap to Prismatic, and a few people have mentioned that today, and there is. And there are a few notable builds that you're going to want to use. But the meta is not established for Prismatic, not yet. It won't be established after one day, because something will be found. Some configuration of Prismatic will be found to then say, alright, this is what we run probably. These are the 3 or 4 builds we run. But listen, make joy of it, of while the game is like this. The Wild West for meta. Because literally it is the Wild West. So you can sort of use what you want and feel effective with, as long as you feel effective with it. And you'll get away with it. It'll be only after a few days or maybe a week where people start advising strongly, okay, if you're on a Titan, do this. If you're on a Hunter, do this. There are some things where people have said Liar's Handshake, Getaway Artist and stuff like that. And there are playback loops there, yes, sure. But not everyone's tested every configuration that is possible. There's too many configurations yet. And day 1 Fellowship was poor for error codes, so this has knocked people back a day in terms of their leveling. It's only today that people have got some serious game timing. I was at work, it didn't matter to me, so I've only actually just played today, right? I haven't played on launch day, of course. So yeah, we're going to pop a Healing Rift here. We're going to go Transcendence, take down the 2 Abominations, because that modifier on Howl and Plague of the Witness, we don't get health regen. Yeah, so it was a good time to use Transcendence here. Now, this is what I'll say about this as well. Make sure that you try to run something that's balanced between light and dark. The reason why this is so good, and I have tried some other abilities on Warlock, and just a few, man, not many, but I ran it with all arcs, all light stuff, and I was barely getting my dark meter to fill up. I would often struggle to get Transcendence when I wanted it, whereas with the turrets, because of the turret energy, it fills up the dark meter so well. Yeah, but when you've got Devour and you're getting kills, that's counting as light kills sort of thing, I think. So you're getting plenty of light kills. Yeah, so you've got your light meter sorted, your dark meter will be sorted via the turret. That's what makes it so good, and I know it is just the starter setup that you get for the Prismatic Warlock with the turret and stuff, but it is good. Like, and I use this specifically because we're up against the dread enemies. Well, you're gonna see how good it is. Like I say, Song of Flame, by the way, it's an amazing super, potentially one of the best supers for a Prismatic Warlock, in my opinion. I mean, you have got Storm Trance. There's no Chaos Reach on this, by the way. No Chaos Reach. The Storm Trance, which I don't think Storm Trance is going to be good. Needle Storm is always good, but the super's funky. You've got to admit, the super for Needle Storm is wonky. It just sometimes inconsistent what damage it does. It does great damage on paper, but if you mess it up slightly, the damage just doesn't do what you want it to. Here's the thing. With the Song of Flame super, it's far more consistent than Needle Storm. And it's just cool to go around throwing nades melee, throwing nades melee. It's just so good, and it melts, especially with the turret, because you got the enemies frozen as you pop super, and I'll point that out when it happens. So we're just pushing up here, keeping our devour going, keeping our keeping our devour going, etc. Pushing up a little bit. I'm going to get a turret down first before I do transcendence. Again, you can't pop a turret nade whilst you're transcendent, because you get that other nade that mixes the light and dark together. So we'll pop that. So that's like a shield, right? So when you're up against transcendent enemies, they're no longer like transcendent enemies once you've took down their shield. Yeah. So once you've done that little bit, but what I also found as well is, if you don't have your meter, shoot them. I think I said it earlier today. Shoot the immune enemy and you'll get your meters, both meters, filled up really quick. So if you don't have it, it's basically to stop you from being soft locked. So that's what it's there for. If you don't have it, we'll put a banner in here. You may as well, as someone pointed out the other day, they are free in all the campaign missions, of course. So this room here is really interesting. So initially we've got 3 wizards to kill and then a tormentor at the end. We're going to go left, deal with the curse troll first. We're going to get up high as well, so that turret will freeze those cursed. And then we can start working on this wizard. The biggest thing of death, if it does bother you that you don't get flawless, would be if you get snuck up on in this room. The ads from middle, because this room is like left, mid, and then the right wing, and then top mid as well. Some of the enemies from the other rooms can sort of ambush you, so that's one thing you got to be careful of. Deal with these ads in middle. Keep on top of the ad spawns in mid, because that's where the torment is going to spawn in. We'll get a turret down for this wizard. Hopefully tracks. We've got some knights to deal with, pushing up a little bit aggressive, but we can with the rocket sidearm. That's the beauty of the rocket sidearm, is that it's basically outclassing every other special weapon, mainly, generally speaking. I'm on about, like, it's outclassing shotguns, it's outclassing fusion rifles, it's outclassing sniper rifles for versatility and ad clear. So it's doing a lot of things well for us. Ad clear, you can play aggressive, it does decent damage to tanky targets, and if it's body shot, it doesn't matter. It's still doing really good damage because it's a rocket sidearm. So that's why it's so good, and that's why you're seeing so many people use the rocket sidearms. You can craft this one as well, so when you get the patterns, I'll be making a video about it. I bet somebody's already got the pattern now somehow. Some wild man will have the pattern for this already, or they'll have spent harmonizers or doing something. Don't do that. You'll get your patterns, don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure. But it's a gun that you're definitely going to want to craft, because I think it's technically better than Indebted Kindness. I think it's technically better. In terms of, like, damage, I know that there's a Volt Shot rule on the Indebted Kindness, but see, you haven't got a Volt Shot rule, then the Strand Sidearm, if you can fit it in your loadout, actually better than the Indebted Kindness. It just depends on what Indebted Kindness rule you have, and it's actually a hard weapon to farm for. I actually tried farming for it last season, and I got a few rolls, as you know, because I was using them in 0 hour, but I had nowhere near enough rolls to work with. This sidearm, it's going to be easy to get, and we'll be able to craft it. We're going to get a turret down. Tormentor. Look at the damage we end up doing here. So the idea is melee, grenade, rocket sidearm. In between those ability cooldown rates, when you haven't got your nade, you haven't got your melee, do a bit of heavy, do a bit of sidearm, and look, we melt him in one cycle after we've dealt with our Song of Flame Super. That's melted the sidearm. That means there's no map rotation needed to be done. It's just a melt. So save your super. It's very valuable for those targets, for tormentors and stuff. It's super valuable, because you do get like a damage resistance, like a Roman super damage resistance, but it's in first person mode. I just honestly can't believe how good it is. I'm looking forward to using the Void Axe one. I'm not looking forward to the Arc one. Let us know what you think about the Arc one, but the Arc Hunter I'm on about. The Arc Hunter Super, it looks rubbish. It looks PvP based. It doesn't look good. It looks awkward to use. I don't know this for certain, but I'm just saying that I think the Titan and the Warlock one seems to outclass the Hunter one in PvE, but I don't know that for certain. I'm just taking a guess. Let me know what you think about it. So now we're on to the next section. So this is amazing skybox as well on this little bit here. Obviously make sure you don't fall off. If you care about the flawless. I don't even know if there's flawless triumphs for this. I honestly even haven't had time today to haven't even look at that. But obviously you know why I'm making it a solo flawless, because that's the meta for YouTube. For any sort of solo content type deal, it's got to be flawless. If it's not flawless, the guy or the girl's going to question you why it wasn't. Because people seem to have a high expectation of people in 2024. Probably ever since Witch Queen, people seem to have like a super high expectation of people to perform well all the time. It makes no odds to me because I've performed so well over the amount of years. Alright? To what I can do. Alright? So it makes not much odds to me. I make sure that my videos are clean-ish. I make sure that there's not huge mistakes like falling off the map or not playing as good. Although today I didn't play 100% capacity because I was work yesterday. So I've ran all these missions today, by the way, tired. So I'm definitely not operating at 100% skill today. Look at that. Look at that trick shot there. I'm not working at 100%. I'm probably working at like 50%, 60%. And that's God's honest truth. I'm sort of like just coursing through because content is just so easy with the rocket sidearm. When you've got rocket sidearm on, you don't have to think too much, honestly. And then with Red Death, how smooth it is, how good it is to use and stay alive. The only time when I really need to think is about when I'm using my super, what am I using it against, Transcendence. But although there's times in the game, on this mission at least, you get Transcendence for free in the portals, but that's not always. And there's often auras on the map. Like there's one behind me, you can't see it, but I've already got Transcendence, so it doesn't matter to give you it. Some flying enemies here. Take those out, no problem. Obviously don't get close to them because they do that shock move that they do, which can be quite dangerous. It's the whatever those enemies are called, man. I can't pronounce it. The new Dread enemies, the new Tormentors, the new ones, the Strand variant. Those are the guys that melt. They are the hardest enemy type so far for the Dread. The bats, they're no problem. Honestly, the guys that rush, they're a bit of a problem, but not too much. We'll have to see how they are on like Grandmaster Nightfall, because on Legend Campaign they don't hit as hard, you know. I'd have to see how they are on a Grandmaster setting to tell you exactly how threatening they are, but I do know these Dread enemies are lethal. The Strand ones. So you've got the Fanatic boss in middle, but it's called Pillar of Devotion. It's the Fanatic boss from Hollowed Layer. I was okay about it. I wasn't like thinking they'd reused assets. You know why I wasn't thinking that? Because the arena is so well designed. So what you need to do is kill the 2 super Dread enemies. That will take down the shield. Actually, no, that will take down the aura for the Aegis shield. To then pick up Aegis shield and then super the boss to take down the shield. Because it's such a well-designed fight, this for a campaign mission, it's really, really good. I wasn't fussed that it was the Fanatic. I wasn't fussed at all. You know, they reuse assets all the time, and I know it is Final Shape, and I know it is like meant to be a major deal and stuff, and it is. But I was that impressed with how it was that it didn't bother me too much. this is where people are going to die. Right here, like stuff like this. Always fight these dread enemies round a corner like so. We've used Transcendence to help deal with them. We supered the other one, but we obviously haven't got a light super, a Song of Flame super for the second one. That's where we... So see how we multitask between the two? We use super for one and transference for the other. So at least we've got something potent each time, because there is a risk of death against those. I have been killed by them today once or twice, and I have been threatened by them once or twice today. So they are threatening. They hit quite hard. Maybe a strand resist would be a play again, because I think that should now come into play, right? The strand resistance monsters and all that sort of stuff. So that would have to be tested to see what that's like. So now we can do DPS. Look, we pick shield up. The boss is stunning in an awkward way because of the turrets. I couldn't get my crits properly. Ads will spawn halfway of a chunk of one half of a bar. Ads will spawn twice. Just deal with the ads each occasion unless you've got like a super, alright, which we haven't. We'll have super for phase 2, which is when it's more important, because we can wipe him and then ignore ads and they despawn. Whereas on this first phase, don't worry, take it slower, because the goal is to deal with the dread enemies easy. DPS is easy, as in fighting the Fanatic, as long as you do it like this. You rotate around the map, use the cover that's given to you. Bungie has given us loads of cover in this campaign. I'm really impressed with like how they've incorporated cover into the combat sequences. They've done really good with the campaign missions overall. I haven't... In Witch Queen Legend campaign, there was 1 or 2 weak missions, I'm being honest. As in, combat-wise, some of them were short. Yeah, some of them actually weren't that good. The Witch Queen campaign was amazing. It set a new ground, and I would say 6 out of the 8 missions were good, but there was 2 of them weak, if I remember. So far in this campaign mission, I haven't felt like there's a weak one. Like a super weak one. Some are shorter than others. Yeah, they range between 20 minutes to half an hour, even solo. This one can range a bit longer than that. It can go all the way up to 40 minutes, depending on how long you've took. Obviously I haven't played Farm Mission yet, but yeah, like honestly, the design of them has been good. Now the story, well, I don't know really, because I'm not a lore expert, but I'll see. We don't know. We don't have the full. Don't worry about the story. We don't have the full ending to it until after the raid, so we can't make our mind up. People have already made their minds up though about it and said, oh, it's this, it's that, because obviously they've played Mission 7 and they've seen what's happened. I haven't seen what's happening yet, but they've seen what's happening and they're not happy with it. Here's the thing, what I was worrying about with the story. I knew, well, if this is the case, they always leave loose ends. They have done this since day 0 of leaving loose ends. So much to talk about, yet they don't cover. So many little things. Like this is meant to be like literally Endgame, isn't it? Right? Like, you know, for like Marvel Endgame, but for Destiny 2. And it's like, it's really focusing on too many little details and not covering the whole, you know, there should be multiple things going on at once, and it doesn't feel like there is so far. And that's my criticism, so I can understand that. This is meant to be the end of like a saga and stuff. To be honest, it should have been longer than 8 missions, probably 10 to 12, and it shouldn't have. It should have been at least 9. We should have had 8 missions today and 1 secret mission. No, not secret, but 1 extra one after the raid. What they've done there is give you 7 and said we'll give you the ending after the raid, which is not good. Okay, that's not anything extra, because all of the Legend campaigns are 8 missions. So they're not giving you any... It feels like you're getting something extra, you're not. They've already developed the 8 missions. They just decided to stick that on at the end after the raid, but it's meant to go and play into the raid. Yes, sure, but in that case there should be 9 missions then. There should have been 8 today, 1 extra. That's how it should have went. So we're going to do our super here. We'll try to do Transcendence and Song of Flame. I don't even know if that does anything. Honestly, I don't have a clue if that does anything, but I was just testing. But that's what we use the super there for on phase 2, to wipe boss with Song of Flame, and it's done. Look at that. We melt boss, and now we run to exit. There's a chance of death here because some Shriekers do spawn. I don't know where these Shriekers spawn, but I hear them. I haven't a clue where they spawn. But this is like an exit. This is like a runaway point. Whenever you play those campaign missions where it's like where you sparrow away or something, it's kind of like that, but you sort of run away from the ads. You can kill them, but I don't think you need to kill all these ads right here. To be honest, you're done at this point. There is a chance of death still if you try and run past them all. For sure there is. You just need to know where the exit point is. So it's to our right, I believe. I'm going to take out some of these flying enemies though, just to be sure that they don't kill me on the way past or something. Because I can't activate Devour just like that, unless like I melee them with my Void melee ability, but by that time I want to run past them. So see, I'm going to make a run for it now, top right. And that's literally you done. So as I said, this is one of the harder missions. I think so far out of the 6 I've played, it's the hardest for your soul floors. I'm on about, when I say this, it's the hardest, I'm on about you, the viewers. You, the viewers, playing this campaign, because a lot of you have been playing it today, finishing it off because you couldn't yesterday. This is one of the hardest for people. So that's why I've added commentary and done extra effort with that. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.